Loimi's World here, and we are back with another one. Today we are looking at Yamcha. Let's get into it. The first thing we're going to be checking out is an article on thegamer.com. It is called Dragonball, 15 surprising things that you do not know about Yamcha. Let's get into it. Yamcha the host. Guys, we're going to be blazing through this. We're not going to be reading everything. We're just going to be giving a little bit of foundation in this article. So let's just go through it. There are nightclubs in Japan where you can hire attractive men or women to hang out with you for the evening. These are known as a host or hostess clubs, and they have been the subject of numerous documentaries that have focused on their status as forms of legal prostitution. Wow. So Yamcha was a host, as they call it. Alright, so according to Akira Toriyama in an interview, Yamcha actually became the host for a brief period of time. This meant that he was paid to hang out with attractive girls. Jeepers, what a job. It seems that Yamcha's fear of talking to women reappeared over time as he was fired from his job for being too nervous. What? I recall Bulma calling him like a playboy, like Playboy Yamcha. So I'm supposing it came back, like he had a problem and then he dated Bulma for a while, fooled around, and then when he lost his partner, his fear of talking to girls came back. That's what I'm assuming happened. Yamcha continued his search for a perfect partner, but his nervousness prevented him from finding love. It seems that he might have ended up in a Brokeback Mountain situation with one of the Z fighters, but we'll get into that later. Okay, I do not know what Brokeback Mountain is. I am guessing that this all happens after the events of Z, which is Dragon Ball Super, which is a series I'm not too clued on, so I won't get into it too much. He fought a robot with these flying cars. Dragon Ball Evolution is considered to be an utter disgrace franchise. They couldn't even spell Dragon Ball correctly. We could spend all day talking about what a total disaster the film was, but instead we're going to focus on how an unofficial knockoff was a far superior movie. Dragon Ball, I cannot pronounce that, Son Goku, was an unofficial Dragon Ball movie that was made in Korea in 1999. It loosely followed the Emperor Pilaf saga, and we do mean loosely, as Yamcha rides around in a flying car that can shoot laser beams. He ends up in an aerial battle with the robot and manages to defeat it. This is one of the few times Yamcha actually managed to defeat someone. That's pretty cool. Yamcha has a theme tune. I read this in advance. Basically, the voice actor Toru Furuya has always said that Yamcha is one of his favorite roles, to the point where he recorded a song about Yamcha. It's called Wolf Hurricane. It's about how Yamcha is a nice guy, but is also a lone wolf who cannot stay with people for too long. He starred in his own manga series. Okay, so Yamcha has his own manga series. The anime filler Power Up. Okay, let's check this out. One of the most unusual filler scenes in anime involved Yamcha in the afterlife being killed by Buu. We see Yamcha defeating Olubu, another powerful warrior. This scene is significant because we had seen Olubu coming close to defeating Pikkon. That's kind of big. Pikkon's pretty strong. Does this mean that the anime version of Yamcha is around the same power level as Goku at the end of the Cell Saga? This is one of the things about Yamcha, is that Yamcha is actually kind of strong. That's what I said. Base level Yamcha is pretty strong, and he doesn't have another level. He's just base Yamcha. He's pretty strong. He's just weak around the characters that he's weak around, and they are just way stronger than him in every way possible. It's a complete stomp. But I mean, as a human, he's pretty strong. I think he's pretty much stronger than 99% of the Dragon Ball universe. We can pretty much theorize that. He stole Gogeta's best move. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Yamcha, the baseball star. Yes, he played baseball for a while for a professional team. We know this. The Dragon Quest identity theft. Akira Toriyama has been pretty blatant about reusing character designs throughout his work. This has happened with a lot of Dragon Ball manga and the Dragon Quest video game series, as he worked on both of them at the same time throughout the 80s and early 90s. This is why the end boss of Dragon Quest V looks like Piccolo with a beard. Chrono Trigger also used character designs created by Akira Toriyama, which is why Chrono is just a ginger Goku. Oh, now that I've seen that, I can't shake that. I never noticed. Okay. One of the most obvious reuses of a character design between Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest, happened in an anime series called Dragon Quest Legend of the Hero Abel. The titular Abel is basically Yamcha if he walked around without a shirt on, and there he is. Okay, that's pretty cool. The broken page, I'm not going to get into that. Let's get to the top 5 disappearing scars. I guess these scars go away after some time. The NES saved Yamcha's life. Okay, the death you weren't allowed to see. Let's get into that. That's interesting. Yamcha's original death by the hands of the Saibaman was meant to elicit shock from the fans of Dragon Ball manga, as it showed that the Saiyans meant business. His death has since reached the meme-tic status online. Sorry, I'm struggling to speak. To the point where it has been referenced in an episode of Dragon Ball Super. Alright, we're gonna get into that right after this top 15. In fact, I'm thinking about actually skipping this article. I'm gonna finish it now, and then we're actually gonna go straight into the into Yamcha fighting the Saibaman, because I think that's a really important scene for the character and it establishes him. Let's establish him, then we can look up the facts. The original English dub of Dragon Ball Z was notorious for the censorship that it attempted to change every death into being sent into another dimension. Yamcha's death scene was no exception. His body was digitally removed from the frame so that it looked like an empty crater. The same thing happened to Piccolo's body when he was slain by Nappa, as it also faded away due to censorship, whereas his body remained in the original version of the episode, which is this version, which is funny because like I also kind of like nostalgia. I don't remember this happening as a kid. I remember seeing it later on the internet, like it popping up, or maybe like, you know, closer to the early 2000s. I didn't see it, but like more towards the late 2000s is where I recall seeing the scene pop up a lot on the internet. Okay, cool. Let's see, Yamcha. I've been going through a lot of different Yamcha stuff, so we just got to get to the Saibaman scene. Okay, so I don't have it in front of me. Let's go Yamcha Saibaman. Okay. Volvo, why you do this? You're breaking the flow of my video. Okay, we're gonna skip this. Shout out to Planet Animation for the re-upload. Just a little bit of an interrupter. If I remember correctly, all of the Saibamen are around the same power level as Raditz, which means to be able to beat a Saibaman, you have to be stronger than Raditz, and that says a lot early DBZ time. He's literally the strongest thing that has touched the earth at that point. Okay.
Oh no, you don't!
All right! Wow, great!
So as you can see, Yamcha actually does defeat a Saibaman. He does actually obliterate a Saibaman and beat it in combat. But then this happens.
That's two!
So Vegeta and Nappa are a little bit worried because they're starting to realize that they might be in they might have bitten off a little more they can chew on Earth. Sure, they know that they can probably destroy the Saibaman as well, but they are getting the first understanding, or this is the first actual showing of true strength from Earth, and it's coming from Yamcha. You have to understand that at this point in the anime, Yamcha is stronger than everyone, Goku included. Goku's currently training with King Kai, so I might be wrong. Goku might be a little bit stronger. I'm not sure if he's learned Kaioken yet at this point. Yeah, I think he has learned Kaioken. So Goku is still technically the strongest, but in terms of alive characters, Yamcha is the strongest of the Z fighters right now. No questions.
Well, that was easy. Looks like we're in a different league altogether than your little green goon squad. You cocky Nappa! Relax. Now then, what do you say I just take on the other 4 by myself?
Vegeta's very smart here because he tells Nappa not to lose his cool.
Yamcha, are you nuts?
Now that I'd like to see. Too bad I won't get the chance. Oh yeah? Bring him on! Let go!
This is sad.
It's over.
It's over. Oh no! No, Yamcha, no! No, you're a meme now! No, the whole internet knows you're a meme now. No! My boy Yamcha, it's over. Oh no.
I guess it's a draw. Kamikaze. No way to defend.
Oh no, Yamcha. Oh, they did him dirty. There's the scene, boys. Let's go back. Let's go back. There's the scene, boys. You've seen this before. Alright, so interesting thing about Yamcha is that actually before this in the Dragon Ball series, what would kind of happen with Yamcha is that he'd always fight the character that Goku has to fight and end up beating first, right? So Yamcha would always end up putting up a fight or putting up a stand against these very, very strong characters, but he'd always end up losing and allow Goku to come into the space and end up winning. Kind of the role that that Vegeta plays in Dragon Ball Z. So Vegeta took this man's wife, he took this man's life, he took this man's everything, like literal life, and he took his role as well. He took this man's everything. But just an interesting thing. That role, like I said, gets taken up by Vegeta, but I think Akira Toriyama, to save Dragon Ball Z from being a repeat of what he had been doing in Dragon Ball, he decided to throw in a little bit of a curveball and just let Yamcha take the L, because Yamcha was by far the strongest Z fighter here. He's hitting Goku. He's hitting close to Goku, I think, because he's already more strong than Goku was when Goku was fighting Raditz, that's for sure. And what's interesting about this is that it would have been nice to see a Yamcha versus Nappa, right? Or all of the Z fighters together fighting Nappa with Yamcha on their side. I think it would have been a completely different fight, actually. I think he's pretty strong, guys. right now he's pretty strong. Okay, let's get into Yamcha losing Bulma to Vegeta. And one of the scenes I want to go to first is the 300 times gravity scene. Alright, so basically Vegeta's been training. Vegeta's on his path. He wants to be stronger than Goku. He's very serious. He's very driven towards a goal. Bulma has pretty much adopted Vegeta, taking him into Capsule Corp, and they've created this training facility where you can train different levels of gravity. Now, Vegeta's currently training at 300 times gravity, and Yamcha has this to say about it.
Whatever Vegeta can take, I can take too. "300 times normal gravity shouldn't be that tough. I'm sure I can handle it." Okay. So he cranks this thing up to 300,000 gravity. 300 times gravity.
and cheapest boy.
Oh no!
Oh
What
no.
have we done? Maybe this wasn't such a great idea after all.
Yamcha, no! Yamcha! Don't die! It's just gravity, Yamcha!
I'll be turned into a pancake if I don't turn this thing off. Come on, just a little farther.
Yo, this is so intense as well. Jeez. This man almost got... Okay, so he almost gets crushed by gravity, ends up on the floor, ends up having to give up. Completely beat, he spent all of the energy gone, all of his ki, everything against 300 times gravity. Mind you, Vegeta, when he was training for Super Saiyan, he was doing backflips and this nonsense. He was doing the most. Yamcha was also doing the most here, but for completely different reasons. Alright, so the scene is very interesting because it's literally Yamcha trying to imitate Vegeta and underestimating what Vegeta has been working towards and how hard Vegeta has actually been working towards a goal. And this leads very well into what actually goes on with him and Bulma, right?
Old ones?
Alright.
Yeah.
You goof! You're such a nut! Where did you
Do that.
I ain't cat
Alright,
food
so
once.
there's a lot of skipping in this video, which makes it pretty annoying.
Oh!
I had a weird dream last night that Vegeta came back.
What? Vegeta? You dreamt about him?
You know, actually, he was pretty nice to me in the...
What? You kissed him?
It was just a dream, Yamcha.
You poor sap, you're jealous, huh?
Speaking of Vegeta, your dad...
Okay, so Vegeta does actually end up coming back. There's a lot of weird cuts in this video, I think due to copyrights.
Vegeta, what do you want?
Oh my! Maybe you prefer some coffee?
I was hoping that Kakarot might have finally returned. Don't remind me. I'm angry enough to hurt somebody, and pounding you might just be the therapy I need.
Damn!
When's the last time you bathed there, bud? You need a bath. Please.
And it was at that moment where Yamcha lost on Bulma. But there's more to this because I mean I feel like there's a scene, man, I collected so many scenes, and if I don't find it I'm just gonna leave it. But like there is a scene where he's literally fooling around. Yeah, here it is.
Hi!
You jerk!
Hey, guys?
Bulma's still mad about the time you stood her up! You should explain that you were just out of money! Huh, Yamcha was...
You should have just explained that you were just out of money. Yamcha is not only a playboy, but he's also broke. Damn.
Huh, Yamcha was broke 99% of the time anyway. Besides, he took Becky Hafford to see the concert 3
Damn.
nights later.
I had tickets. You wouldn't go.
Man, being a jerk just comes so natural to you.
Yeah? Well, I'd say I owe all my training in that department to you, Bulma. Krillin, if you need some help against those...
Jeepers. Alright, so there's Yamcha pretty much just being a great playboy. And yeah, it doesn't work out for him in the long run. Definitely doesn't. Let's move on to why Yamcha isn't weak. I think this video is pretty great.
Of months.
Shout out to Laughing Stock Media. Let's see where we need to start this. I want to start this after
powerful
Dragon Ball.
or the
But basically in Dragon Ball, he fights a lot of powerful
most
people.
powerful other humans during the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z. During this point, his power increased significantly, where he went from being weaker than Goku to stronger than Raditz after a number of months. At this point, Yamcha was far more powerful than every fighter in the original series.
This is what I was
and could
saying.
naturally accomplish the same feats. This is when Yamcha's most iconic defeat happened, when he was killed during his fight with the Saibaman. However, this conclusion was actually more of a draw, because Yamcha handily beat the Saibaman until it latched onto him and used self-destruct, which was super effective. But because death in Dragon Ball is only an inconvenience for our heroes, Yamcha's training didn't end there. That's because he went to train with King Kai alongside Tien, Piccolo, and Chaozu. All of them reached the world far sooner than Goku had, and all of them had the goal on their mind to surpass him. On that world, Goku's power level increased from just over 400
Yeah, but Goku also fooled around a lot on Snake Way. He fooled around quite a bit, if I remember correctly.
to over 8,000, which was roughly a 20 times increase in power. However, based upon the evidence, it seems like Yamcha's boost was actually a lot more than this. First off, we were told that each of the warriors intended to surpass Goku, and would be trying to do a more extreme form of training on the world than he did. This resulted in a large boost for one of the fighters, namely Piccolo. Now when Piccolo was revived before the fight against Frieza and brought to Namek, he encountered Nail, who at the time was the most powerful warrior Namekian, with a power level of roughly 40,000. Nail is surprised by Piccolo's strength and says that he's an incredibly powerful warrior. Let's remember here, Nail has seen a lot happen before this encounter. He sensed the power of the Ginyu Force, then of Goku after he touched down the planet. He's felt the fight between Gohan, Krillin, Vegeta, and Frieza, and he's even fought Frieza himself. All of these characters put Saiyan Saga levels to shame. Yet when confronted with Piccolo, Nail says that he's incredibly powerful. Furthermore, after merging with Nail, Piccolo is able to fight against second form Frieza, who had a power level of over 1 million. So all of this seems to imply that Piccolo got a massive boost in power on King Kai's planet, and may have somehow actually surpassed Goku's base form after his gravity training, which had a power level of around 90,000. So if this happened with Piccolo, there's a large chance it also happened with the others, even Chaozu, but probably not.
Damn.
And if we go by the anime version, this is pretty much confirmed when King Kai brings the Ginyu Force to his planet, and they get totally owned by Yamcha and company. So despite sitting on the sidelines, Yamcha is still very powerful here. This leads into the Cell Saga, a point where Yamcha's character began to see more marginalization. As the Saiyans and Piccolo increased the gap...
Yeah, bro, like, this is insane. I mean, Piccolo was pretty strong in Cell Saga. People don't understand that usually. After he fuses with Kami, he's pretty strong. He's pretty stacked. But the Super Saiyans and the Ascended Saiyans and oh man,
even
like Super Saiyan, Super Vegeta type stuff. So there was like this Ascended Saiyan form. I think that's what it's called usually, right? Where you're Super Saiyan, but you're above Super Saiyan. But it makes you super buff and it slows you down. And there's like 3 forms of it, but it's not Super Saiyan 2. And it's just like your power level in that form is super high, right? Your power level is insanely high, but you just get slowed down to the point where you take a beating anyway, regardless of your power level. This is why, if you remember that scene with Cell and Vegeta, when Vegeta used his final flash on Cell, if Cell doesn't dodge that thing last second, oh brother, he gets melted. And I think it was perfect Cell.
further with Super Saiyan and plot power alike.
But yeah, my point is, Saiyans, Piccolo, very strong at this point. Androids as well, lots of strong things out there. Yamcha and the rest of them at this point cannot compete.
So despite this, Yamcha's power still grew considerably during the 3 years of training. Of course, before that, he took another loss to 300 times gravity. But considering that it was 3 times heavier than anything Goku trained under, and Yamcha was unaccustomed to it, that result was to be expected. Now, before the 3 years of training, Piccolo told everyone that this would be a battle for their lives, and if they didn't believe that they could stand a chance against the androids, they needed to stay home. Despite this, Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha all showed up to the fight. All 3 of these characters knew that the androids were stronger than Frieza, Bulma, who they
Okay.
had sent 3 years prior along with future Trunks as a Super Saiyan, who they also knew was weaker. Yet despite that, they still showed up to the fight. This signifies to me that each of them once again grew considerably in power. Now, I wouldn't say that any of them were comparable to Frieza or anything, but to me their power levels must have been somewhere in the millions to even attempt to fight. Furthermore, Android 19 describes Yamcha as someone who had an incredible power, with his first hypothesis being that it was Goku. Dr. Gero even goes so far to absorb his power, so based on all of this, I think that Yamcha is likely at least comparable to Goku's base form on Namek, or even in this arc. Now, he fell in prominence throughout the arc.
Okay, so towards the end of the Cell arc, useless. Towards the Boo arc, joke character. Complete joke character, Yamcha. I'm gonna sum you up. Thank you so much, Laughing Stock Media. We don't need anything more. Pretty much, Yamcha is probably going to be able to fight the first 3 forms of Frieza, maybe even final form Frieza, with his final arc power level, which is pretty respectable, guys. Imagine Yamcha, just picture it in your head. Imagine Yamcha on Namek fighting Frieza. Just put that in your head. That's kind of crazy. Like fighting final form Frieza and giving him the beats. That's kind of crazy. Just of course, I mean, the timeline in Dragon Ball, everything happens so fast, everyone gains power so fast, it's crazy. Alright, now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you some clips from my friends, and they're going to be giving you their opinions on Yamcha. Let's go.
You know what? I actually thought it was dope. You know why? He looked like he was all dressed like Goku was dressed up, you see. And they were training together, so you were like, oh, he's Goku's classmates. He must be some other sick ass nigga. Turns out, bruh, come on. This guy is a waste man, bruh. Yo, bruh, even got stared at by Vegeta. To be fair, it was by the Prince of All Saiyans, but ish, that's the thing about Yamcha. He was actually like a hardcore human being. When you think about it, the way you think about it. So I sort of have this weird relationship where you're like, who's this sucky guy that keeps getting beaten? Oh shit, dude, this guy's actually a human and he's training with Goku. Ah shit, but he's doing us dirty, bruh. Why is he being such a sucky human, bruh? Hey, the more you think about it, Krillin is better than this guy, right? Because at least Krillin advances a story, you know what I'm saying, bruh?
Yamcha was the man that, had no powers but was powerful in his own right. I mean, understand. Look, the man's a coward, a weakling. There's so many words that you can use to describe him, but the fact of the matter is he was one of the main protagonists of Dragon Ball. The developers or the creators of the show put him in there to just show, even if you're just a normal person, you can still have a go at all these supers and all the powers in this world and still be able to thrive in it the way Yamcha did.
Even Chaozu was better than this man, at least. Man, Chaozu could take out a Saibaman at least. He almost took out Nappa. We had faith, Joe. But when we saw Yamcha, it was late, Joe. Yamcha is scum of this earth, Joe. He's like the weakest of the weak when it came to the people in the Z Fighters.
He's kind of like a warning. He's a warning to people, right? That you could really be in a similar situation and be afforded similar opportunities as somebody, but what you decide to do with those opportunities is what determines your success, if you will, your success level, or how much you achieve. Let me rather say, not your success, how much you achieve, right? So Yamcha went from being a fellow student with Goku to being somebody who was concerned with women and just all the things that he shouldn't, well, not shouldn't, but I mean all the distractions. He got concerned with distractions rather than be concerned with his goals.
And we are back from those clips with my friends. It was like a second for me, but it would have been a little bit longer for you guys. And that's what they had to say about Yamcha. In my opinion, I think Yamcha is a great model for what Akira Toriyama had a point with this character, right? And with a lot of his characters, Dragon Ball is a really great series, especially for guys to check out. Like, if you're a guy, you need to watch Dragon Ball Z. There's so many gems in there. But I think Yamcha is just a model for what happens when you are not focused on what you want. When you have loose goals, when you're unstructured, when you kind of just go where the wind takes you and you're not too focused on anything. You become this Yamcha kind of character. Mind you, he's still pretty strong, but as compared to the rest of the cast and the men around him, you know, he's really in the shadow of all the men around him. Even guys like Tien, even maybe Krillin. They outshadow him. And it's literally just on the basis of, like, he's got potential, but it's just on the premise of he's never taken the time to actually try and get the power that maybe he could have obtained. Because throughout the series, we see that he's able to kind of match Goku, at least up until we start seeing Super Saiyan stuff. Stick to your goals. We see that he's able to get his power level, win the day. Win the day. That's very important. That's something Yamcha really doesn't do. Doesn't win the day every day, except when he tries to win the moment. And even after that, we see the moment being some big spectacle. Training, tries to perform and the then big we spectacle. See this man kind of chill 4v1 all of these Saibaman. I can go that's my 300 times Yamcha is that he's a really good model. He's not focused on just winning. He's not weak in the least, but consistent compared to everyone doing it that way. Alright, this is your boy Louis Talk. I know this has been a long video. This was my thoughts on Yamcha. I like doing these scattered thought videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more of them. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm out.